This is the Liquid Courage Podcast, a in-depth look at every episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. On this episode, we check out The Revenge of the Chicken from Outer Space and Journey to the Center of Nowhere, featuring Taylor, Tim, and Sheldon. Now here are your hosts. I'm gonna say it here first. I am waiting for Pornhub to make the actual hub a video hub, so they can compete with YouTube. I'm not joking. I think they fucking could.
Yeah.
But then they'd ruin Pornhub.
They have the money. But no, they'll still have Pornhub, but they just make the hub separate, right?
Welcome to the Courage the Cowardly Dog
Same
podcast.
logo, like just different
My name's
colors.
Sheldon, this is Tim.
Jesus Christ, is that the beginning?
No.
Tim, were you recording?
Oh,
well.
I am recording actually right now. We can make a different
No, fuck it, hi, we're here.
Else planned, like last time.
Listen, I just like the idea of us
I hope
Pornhub.
it fades in when Tim just going like, no, like you keep the same logo as that, but it's just called the, and then you just burst through. Fuck me. Hi, folks. Welcome to the Courage. But nope, that's not our name of our podcast. Welcome to Liquid Courage. The Courage the Cowardly Dog podcast. As always, I am Taylor, and I am joined by my friends Tim and Sheldon.
Hello.
Sheldon.
He said his. There we go. He tried to introduce it and then stopped. So here we are.
No, I didn't stop. It's just everybody was wondering if it was the real introduction or not. And then I'm like, oh shit, we're not running with it. Let's stop.
But we are, we're here. We're here to talk to you about things.
Pornhub.
It's been a little bit.
Making the video hub for the future.
Yeah, let's just not talk about our episodes.
I'm calling it now. 5 years from
I really
now,
hope
be
there's
a
just
competitor to
somebody
YouTube.
that listens to us that like suddenly like a few weeks from now they make that announcement and then it's just like, wait a minute.
Now hold on, folks.
This all seems just too similar to something that we talked about.
What we want and what isn't real.
Wait a minute, the CEO of Pornhub listens to our podcast. He goes, I got this idea from these brilliant three young minds.
Good. But we're here to talk to you about Courage the Cowardly Dog, as we do every month. It is the new year. It is 2020. We are recording this in the new decade, and boy, oh boy, this shit is off with a bang.
Yep.
And so I was really, I was thinking like,
almost literally,
man, it's gonna be great. We're gonna go into the new year. We'll have our good recording time. There'll be no outside world problems to bleed into this.
Oops,
and it's just like,
world problem.
Wow, here we are. Our world's on fire. How about yours? So here we are.
Boo.
We might.
I went to a wedding recently, and the one thing that you could not request through the DJ was Smash Mouth.
That's just terrible.
It was.
Which I went up to my best friend, who was the groom, and I was like, "Why the fuck did you do this?" He goes, "She really just doesn't
then you
like
should get
it."
a divorce lawyer ready, because
care.
obviously something's gonna go down.
That's a no.
And I asked him about the prenup. No.
So.
No,
This is a weird week. It's not super late out. We're just here. We watched some
Courage.
Some of us are
you snowed in?
Snowed in.
Oh man,
Pretty much.
fucking
It's gonna
cold.
snow again tomorrow.
Bud. Sorry to hear that.
You know what else is cold?
it-
Space. You know what else comes from space? The chicken.
Chickens.
I'm worried that he is on with his segues today, and I don't know how I feel about that. But we are here to talk about Courage the Cowardly Dog, as we do every month. We're nearing the end of season 1. We're getting close. It's but we're not there yet. So
We're one episode away.
I know.
Yeah.
This
So you can't wait for it.
oh, all 7 of you.
Oh, come on. 7.
We do have some very positive reviews on
Don't we have
Apple Podcasts.
Don't we have 3
and on
reviews?
Spotify. We do, but they're all 5
But,
stars. So.
One of them is him in disguise.
You'll never know. You'll never know which one.
Shit. We're here to talk. God, I'm just going over the same shit because you keep throwing me off. But we're here to talk about 2 episodes today. Well, 1 episode with 2 parts, as you know. And Sheldon already alluded to one of them with the the Revenge of the Chicken from Outer Space.
He's back,
and
everybody.
The Journey of the Center to the Center of Nowhere, which is fun. This is a weird week. It's not that either one of these are not fun or good episodes, but
they're
like,
not fun or good.
No, but we're coming off the heels of some real bangers up to this point, and I think because of that, there's just a lot of like, I don't know.
They didn't hit me as well.
And I think that might come across in some of it.
Not saying they're bad, Tim.
We haven't really talked about it.
I was gonna say Journey to the Center of
Nowhere. And I really like that one.
favorite
That's a really good one.
so.
I did enjoy that one a lot. But I mean, we're coming off the heels of
Heads of Beef.
Heads of Beef and Cats Club, and those were fucking crazy. So just be aware of that when we talk about these, folks. It's just our opinion. We're it's a fun thing.
Our opinions aren't worth trash these days.
Well, their opinions are, but yep.
Just don't go shouting around.
So, let's talk about the Revenge of the Chicken from Outer Space. I think that will be pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
it should be.
Guess who's back?
Guess who's back again? Chicken back. Tell a friend. So this is an interesting thing because technically this is a callback to the pilot episode, if you've not figured that out already, even with the title. But if you've never seen the pilot episode, you would be thoroughly confused.
Especially during the no words monologue that each of them have.
Oh yeah. And
the very beginning,
what does this turkey have against this dog?
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of weird. The opening of this episode opens with just a few things losing their head. A girl's doll, a plunger appears on a string, rips the doll's head off. A mannequin that had the legs of cats, which was weird. Its head
Renaissance
ripped
fair?
off.
Yep.
Yeah. No. The Statue of Liberty gets its head ripped off, which was more worrisome than I think we probably didn't acknowledge. But I'm suddenly realizing that's not. I mean, this is a pre-9/11 episode, so that's probably why.
Not by much,
2000,
though. Not by too much.
Yeah,
but it's a year and a half, I guess. But that would raise the level nowadays, wouldn't it? We'd be on
a Reddit post about it.
Fuchsia.
We weren't even allowed into the top of the. We weren't even allowed in the top of the Statue of Liberty probably until like a year ago.
Yeah, they closed it. It depends.
Not even now.
When it's open and when it's not. I mean, sometimes I think they let people up, but it's pretty rare. And I don't know if that's just structural wise or security wise, but
probably security wise.
But
I would say
what's weird about this part of the episode to me is that it has those things getting ripped off, and then it just cuts to Courage screaming.
Hey man, you know Courage enough to know that he probably wakes up 99% of the night screaming.
Yeah, but is it a nightmare?
It's The Shining. We talked about this.
No, he can't.
Yeah, he can see ahead.
He's a dog.
He is super.
He doesn't have super brain powers. This has never been confirmed.
He has X-Men transformative powers.
So he can fucking transfer. That would be okay.
He's a level. He can
transform into an X-Men.
Does it make you mad that the X-Men are never going to have the same play again because they were an allegory for society's not accepting
The civil rights.
differences, as in like
Because Wolverine
race
was,
or
like, my
sexuality?
favorite.
Yeah, it's such a bummer that I go.
Cyclops can go fuck himself.
Well, yeah, we all know that.
Oh yeah.
But it's so weird to me that like you're really only gonna get like X-Men in passing now because it's just not nearly as used as it once was.
Well, you don't like the Jesus? What are the new shows coming out right now for X-Men?
There's new X-Men.
The new
shows
X-Men
coming out?
or whatever. Yeah, there's another
That's
movie
cool.
coming out.
All I
can't remember
know.
what it's called. It's an offshoot of
I don't know
X-Men.
that.
New
Anyway.
Mutants. New Mutants.
Neat.
Which is
That's
the lead up
neat.
to the
What
actual
you should
Civil
do is
War.
you should go get Disney Plus and just watch the '90s animated series, and it's better.
Don't have to. Got the box set, baby.
You don't start this.
We lose Sheldon halfway through the episode. Jeez.
All you hear is screaming in the background.
No,
As you hear it turn on to the
And he's
TV.
gone.
He's running down the street in yellow spandex and forks.
He's trying to cut cars in half again. Do you fucking remember? We'll get back to the episode. There's not. I mean, the first part of the episode, there's not a lot. It's a
The
chase
chicken
cartoon.
shows up.
There's nothing
Yeah.
going
Well,
on.
hang on. Do you fucking remember that movie that was about superheroes, but they were the shitty ones? And like, there was the guy that had the shovel, and then Ben Stiller, Mystery Men.
Oh, Mystery Men.
Oh my god, Mystery Man.
I remember that
Holy
movie.
shit.
I love that movie.
I rented that
That movie
movie
is
so many
awesome.
times.
How many times do we have to reference Smash
Enough.
Mouth in this
But
fucking
like
episode?
the fucking bowler whose power they can throw a bowling ball really fucking hard.
Yeah, but her dad's
It
skull
was
was
a
in it, so it's
possessed
like a
bowling
possessed
ball?
bowling
Hold
ball.
up. So she can roll bowling balls really,
Yeah.
really fast?
Yeah,
Only throw bowling balls.
only bowling balls.
Yep.
And only that bowling ball. And then there was not Keenan, Kel, whatever his last name is.
Oh my god, Cal.
But
I
he
can't remember.
his
we can
power
do
was
it.
he was invisible, but only when no one was looking at him.
That's right,
I
correct.
don't
yes.
think I ever
And
saw
he had to
it.
get
He had
naked
to
for
be
it, too.
naked. And then there was the shoveler, which was William H. Macy. And his power was
Right.
he hit people with the fucking shovel. And then there was Ben Stiller's character, who was the edgy dark one. You heard it here first, folks. It's the first time Ben Stiller's ever been edgy.
Well,
And
what about
he-
Zoolander?
And he would bend spoons, but I don't remember what his name was. And then there was the guy who does a bunch of voices for The Simpsons, who could see the future and was vaguely playing like an Indian character. Yeah, was that Hank Azaria?
Azaria.
Yeah.
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 The Blue Raja?
Yeah. Hank Azarian's not
Something
Indian,
like
right?
that.
Like he's not.
Don't know.
Yeah.
No, he's white.
Hey, man.
God damn, the 2000s were a wild ride. Is he?
Actually,
okay.
no, he is actually.
All right.
Wait, then doesn't he do the voice of Apu? If you're giving me wrong information, you're gonna make me look like a huge asshole here in a minute.
Nah, I mean, you don't need help with
I'm on the Wikipedia. Don't worry, I'm
'Cause
looking it up.
I'm about ready to go on
Don't
my
worry.
Apu rant, and that's not gonna be.
Yeah,
Hey,
But isn't he still...
yeah, he is. He is Apu.
so
Mo,
like they're
Chief
getting
Wiggum, and Various.
they're pushing Apu out, right?
No. That it turns out Apu's not going anywhere.
But they're like downplaying him as much as he's not gonna be as vocal of a character or something like that.
Yeah, Mike, he was
He already
a
wasn't,
sidekick.
yes.
Either way, if you go watch that stupid documentary about why Apu is bad, you're wrong, and I dislike you.
Just because they watched it, what if they were there angry, just like you were?
If you're there angry, then we can still be friends.
Here you go. We get a chance. If we talk about the Mystery Man, we could talk about Artie Lane as Red. And
Artie Lang, he did too much.
He did
too much cocaine, and his nose collapsed.
Holy shit! Too much cocaine.
Yeah,
he did.
Chicken Returns.
Yeah, he did so much cocaine that his nose fucking collapsed.
No, we're not
It's
doing
fucking crazy. So anyway, go watch Mystery Men. That's what I'm telling you. It's so fucking weird. It's such a silly fucking movie.
Is a good movie.
Don't go into it thinking like you're gonna get a really. It was a parody of Marvel movies before the Marvel movies were really good. Holy shit!
Yeah, they were making.
And
fun
it's
of
still
the really
good though.
crappy
Anyway,
Marvel movies.
We're all gonna wear black latex and go out.
By the way, they had way better production value in the Mystery Man than a lot of the early Marvel movies.
one would argue that there was
gives you
better
that.
production value in that than some of the later Marvel movies, with the amount of green screen backgrounds that were used, as opposed to going
man.
to space.
Hey man, Daredevil.
Oh yeah, we're just.
That's
gonna
my
take
favorite
them to
argument
space.
when people are like, the
Yeah,
Marvel
we'll film
movies
in
are not
space.
cinema because they shot most of them on a green screen background. And I went, oh, fuck yourself. It's a fucking superhero movie, and a lot of effort went into it, you dicks.
Have you ever seen 2001: The Space Odyssey? How much of that did
Fucking
they shoot
right.
on
Oh,
location?
they used practical. Fuck off. Jesus.
They used shit.
Ugh.
Compositing in film.
Stupid.
It
Did you
happens
see the
all
new Call of the
time.
Wild
Trust me.
trailer?
No.
CG dog. Animals are out.
Yes. Looks great.
We don't need animals in movies anymore. Just CG everything. Anyway, so Eustace. No. So Courage wakes up from this nightmare and
Gets kicked out of the room.
I guess it's a nightmare. Everything is saying it's a nightmare. I don't fucking know. And it bugs me because it just cuts to Courage screaming.
And then it cuts to Eustace kicking him out of the room.
Yeah, but there has to be like a scene there, right? Like there has to be at least. Anyway.
Premonition. Do you think? There
No,
was a
I just
scene
don't
that
think it
was
was in
cut
there.
from the
I think
original script that
they
would be
someone
like-
probably went. We probably should put like a thing that shows like a dream filter, and everyone was like, "We got to print."
So
we gotta go. This got to be out by next
because it
week.
does
We're
start
done.
with a mannequin Courage getting its head
Well, yeah,
plugged
and
off.
that's
And
yeah,
then-
then it cuts to Courage screaming, but it doesn't make any sense to me because I guess it's.
Mm-hmm.
I digress.
Keep going down this psychopathic hole you're
the only
going
thing I
I'm
could
j-
say
All
about
it is me just ranting. I'm just gonna keep going back to like I don't think that's a fucking nightmare. Like that seems lazy.
It wasn't a nightmare. He just
So-
screams.
Well,
let me go out on a limb here with this part. All right. What if the chicken from outer space wanted Courage to see what he was doing, so that way he'd be down in the kitchen and lure him outside?
Okay,
Well, I'll give you
folks,
that,
we're
Tim.
gonna fucking I'm gonna break this. I'm gonna spoil the end of this real quick. So you're telling me that the
God.
chicken has the ability to beam this imagery into Courage's head, but doesn't have the ability to then realize it's above a fucking missile silo?
It also has the ability to be immortal without a head. So you know what? Anything's up for scale here.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
No,
I was gonna
no,
say
no,
it's also
fuck
the
you,
ability
sir.
to travel through space.
No, I'm not doing this. This is like one
It
of
is what we
this is
call
like one of those shitty
a
fucking things
cartoon.
when the hero does something and he's like I'm gonna do this and he fucks up and the villain goes, I knew you would do that. So you're telling me if I just didn't fucking do it, you would have your entire plan would have crumbled.
Or he
You would have
really
never
knew water.
known.
Fucking stupid. Stupid.
All of it could be a coincidence.
Fucking
Maybe he was
dumb.
screaming. Do you think that Courage was having a dream about the next part of the episode where no one had water?
Oh, now we're
was like, I
saying
need
that
water
Dilworth
now.
is He actually could be.
I mean, I'm like, man,
Yeah,
I don't
but-
know what you're about to say, but I'm like, it could be.
This is like one of those fucking things where you read like The Great Gatsby in high school, and your English teacher is like, and the water symbolizes the weight of the world, and the light symbolizes the hope of mankind. You're like, it's just a fucking light. You don't fucking know what F. Scott Fitzgerald wanted.
So, He was
The
probably
door
drunk and high the
red.
whole time he was
That was
writing.
his wife.
Probably was.
God bless you, Zelda.
Deadpool.
Anyway, so Courage wakes up from this, I'm in heavy quotations, nightmare, and is thrown out of the room by Eustace, as we covered. And Courage goes to get a drink into the kitchen, where suddenly there's noise outside, much akin to a lot of Courage stories at this point.
There's a noise at the door.
He comes out, and there's just a CGI UFO floating in the sky, and with the proper response, Courage screams, and
he actually enlarges his eyes a bunch.
Yeah, and then this fucking bottom thing opens up and lowers, and like, I guess because of everything we saw to that point, I was like, oh cool, it's gonna be like a plunger over and over, like, or it's gonna be some like weird thing, and nope, there's just a fried chicken that gets lowered from this spaceship, and that was the moment. That was the moment that my brain just went, oh, it's one of these episodes, huh?
The return.
Like, for some reason, there's something of like, there's certain episodes with Courage where I just go like, oh, it's one of these things. Like, there's so many of them with like interesting characters and like weird shit happening, and you're like, oh, weird. Oh, okay. Wow, that's a cool character design. And then it was like a fried chicken lowered from the ceiling, and I went, I don't fucking know where we're going, but I don't think I want to go with you.
And then I strapped Taylor's roller coaster straps real tight, and I went, but we're going though.
We have to go. As we go through the tunnel, and I screamed, there's a drop! But there wasn't one, just to scare the kids behind me.
No one knows that we are going.
We should review the Tom and Jerry version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Nostalgia critic. That shit's dumb.
Yeah, you're right.
Hell yeah. By the way, that's my favorite movie.
Well, that's because it's fucking great. Because Gene Wilder's a goddamn gem. You only need to watch. You only need to watch the part where is it Tiny? Is that his name?
I can't remember his name. It's the tiny gray mouse, and he does the speech of them going through the dark tunnel. Nothing cut out. Just.
Wait, who plays Willy Wonka
in the Tom and Jerry?
Yeah,
it's you know the little gray mouse from Tom and Jerry. That's the guy who does the speech.
Yeah.
He basically drives a lot of shit forward, and they get on the ship and they go forward, and then he does the entire no direction.
The hell's the fire glowing?
It's amazing. It's my favorite thing in the entire fucking world is to listen. I'll give it to you after we record.
I need to watch it.
Oh.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But so this fried chicken is lowered on this platter, and the space chicken, as everything refers to it as, is here to get revenge upon Courage. That's congratulations. There's a summary. And it rises up like a fucking zombie, holds a plunger, and gestures to Courage, and then like does the whole like. Runs the finger like across his neck type thing, like this is gonna get your head.
The chicken needs a new head, man.
Courage freaks out, understandably at this point, and just slams the screw. And he I love the way the Bag's house is set up, because there's no real doors. They're all screen doors. You know that, like we've noticed that.
Ready to be murdered at any moment.
You can get through that.
So they probably don't have central...
Well, yeah, but you still have a
AC,
security door on the inside of the house, Tim. Yes, you do.
Taylor, jeez.
No, it's nowhere. We'll just cut through the screen and kill you. That's how In Cold Blood happens.
But there's so many security locks on the screen door.
Which is stupid, because... God damn it, just be safe. Just be safe, people.
Right,
lock your doors at night. Use a deadbolt.
And
fucking
and
criminally. He just slams it, and there's all these new locks on the door. My favorite part about that scene is in the animation. You can tell that they were just like, yeah, just draw locks on the static background, all right. Like, they already had the background of the kitchen, and they're just like, yeah, just draw fucking locks on the door. Because the locks are so, like, pronounced, because Courage has to interact with them. You can tell that they were just drawn on top of the already there background.
Yeah. which is bringing.
Oh
up
yeah,
Tom
no,
Jerry.
it's a way to cut expenses. And Muriel comes down because she heard the commotion. Courage turns into a fun flying saucer.
A bunch
chicken,
of couple things, yeah.
As he is wont to do.
Yeah.
She goes outside to see what happened. Didn't unlock any of those locks. Goes outside to see what happens.
Nothing there.
And is then just taken away by a plunger into the night. Just like
by a plunger
gone. And loses a slipper. Courage steps to the doorway to see the barn just illuminated in purple light with a green moon above it.
Which is not.
It's pretty standard, you know. You see a lot of purple barns.
Yeah.
Because Colorado's legal and Oklahoma is decriminalized. I think also medically legal. Missouri is decriminalized. Nebraska's decriminalized, and Kansas is still sitting here clutching to our morals because we're stupid.
Hey man.
Yeah.
It's so sick. Police sit at the Colorado border and just wait for Colorado tags to cross the border to just flip their lights on to see if they have pot with them. It is.
Yeah. I would say they do it for Kansas tags.
No, but they 100% do it for Colorado tags. So if you're driving through the states and you end up going from a legal state to an illegal state, we're talking about marijuana.
Start your doobie.
No, don't do that. Leave it in the legal state.
No, just leave it, please. For God's sake,
you will go to jail.
Do not take it here.
And the sheriff's department will show pictures of your 3 joints as a big bust. What?
Yep, and you do not want to be
one
in
of the counties around me did that. They talked about a big drug bust they had, and it was like definitely some dude's personal stash, and it was like 4 joints in a bag. They're like, "We got this off the street." I was like, "You guys need a hobby." Wowzers! I bet that was a hard one to find. Kansas was one of the last states to fully repeal prohibition too. Just so you guys are aware of that history fact. The Kansas was like, we're gonna be dry until like the 50s, and then they were like, fine, it'll be a county thing. And still some counties are like, we don't sell any alcohol at all because it makes people immoral.
Man,
we're fucking footloose.
Just to pull back a little bit, I used to live in Hayes, which is where I went to school, and Taylor's close to there right now. They didn't serve alcohol on Sunday until I basically left there
the Kansas legislature just passed laws to allow you to purchase alcohol on Sundays in the state of Kansas.
On Sunday. In the dry counties.
Well, that's a county by county thing. But Kansas in general was like, you can't sell alcohol on Sundays ever. And then like they backed up on that, and then they said, well, it's a county by county thing, and then each county had to okay it. And then they now allow you to sell it in grocery stores on Sunday. And also, sorry, you can't sell alcohol on Sundays. Well, you can, depending on the grocery store or the county you're in. But now you can actually buy, get this, guys, up to 6% alcohol in normal grocery stores now, as opposed to 3.2 beer, which is all they sold from the fucking 60s on in grocery stores.
And so that's going to change in a couple years too, where you can buy actual full-fledged alcohol
think that's passed yet,
in store. But
all right, let's go into the political corner.
No, it's the idea. Sorry. For what I understood, it was told to me by someone who works in liquor stores and everything like that, is that the law just means you can sell alcohol, period, in grocery stores. But the actual grocery store said, we're not going to sell actual alcohol in stores because we don't want to put the local liquor stores out of business. Which, when they said that, I was like, wow, that's going to last like 2 years.
To my knowledge, it was just a state law that allowed them to sell full-fledged beer in grocery stores now. I don't think you can actually sell alcohol, like full-fledged alcohol, in grocery stores yet, because if they could, they would. So
they definitely would.
Because that law allows also like
legend.
convenience stores to sell it too. So like you can go buy full-fledged beer in like Casey's.
Well, it'd be like it is in
Nebraska,
Missouri, which does sell all that. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Or anywhere around us, basically. But like I was talking to someone who worked at a liquor store, and he was very pissed because he was like, "Well, now I have to like put inventory in for soda and other stuff, so that way I can compete with a grocery store." I'd be like, "If you put soda in here, I wouldn't go to a grocery store. I'd come to you."
One-stop shop. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, can you tell that the Revenge of the Chicken from Outer Space does not have a lot for 3 idiots to talk about on the internet?
Yeah, it's not that big of an episode.
Hey, guess
we've already described
there's
almost half of the episode.
The other half is Courage goes into the barn, and he finds the UFO, and he walks up the ramp to the... Also, it crashed into the barn. It didn't gingerly land. I don't know how no one woke up.
Because Eustace and Muriel have started taking sleep meds because obviously they don't like each other's company.
Oh, and my complaint about it being a nightmare, it's a cartoon.
I'm just making shit up to make you yell, so...
Bastardos. But
it's not really that hard, Tim. Say anything.
You're doing good, Sheldon. Keep going. Yeah,
my audio
what
is
your viewpoint
peaking.
on Andy, Taylor? It is actually. You should.
If I back off, then you can't hear me.
Well, yeah.
That's the behind the scenes, folks. But he goes to the barn and he investigates. There's the UFO. He's very upset again. Walks in to find the chicken. And this is the part that's going to be hard for us to explain to you.
I need my revenge, you Courage.
In an audio format. So apparently, and I'm gonna read verbatim from the wiki because this is the silliest fucking thing I've ever heard. So this is from the courage.fandom.com/wiki for Revenge of the Chicken, and this is after he walks into the bar. He walks inside the craft and confronts his arch nemesis, who is standing in front of 2 things. First is a stool with a toilet plunger overhead. The second is a slideshow screen. With the alien chicken revealing his plan to Courage, he wants to use the plunger to remove the dog's head and use it as his own. When Courage holds up a question mark sign, the alien chicken responds with another slideshow, showing what happened to him. In the pilot, it doesn't say in the pilot, but in the pilot, leaving Courage confused. Back to business. The chicken points to the stool, wanting Courage to get on it, but Courage firmly replies, "Make me angered." There's a lot of punctuation shit in here that's real weird. Space Chicken reveals Muriel to Courage, tied to another stool with a toilet plunger on her head. When he pulls the lever, it's clear he intends to pull Muriel's head off instead. Courage rushes outside to get help, but in his haste, trips over a plug connected to the UFO.
On. He didn't trip over that plug. He removed that plug.
He
actually did.
He runs over to see it, but he does end up tripping.
Okay. I thought he pulled it out on his own.
Well, he does, because he trips over it and he sees it in the barn wall, and then he pulls it out. And suddenly the power of the ship goes off, thus turning off the space chicken's device.
Ooh.
It's apparent Courage unplugged the cord before he ran to get help.
Yeah, what the hell? Why does it say that? That's
By the way,
worst sentence to end on.
That entire thing that I just read to you,
accurate.
That is 2 sentences. 90% of that was commas.
I'm reading with you. Also, to raise another point on the wiki,
we
which
just
we
use
use
it
for
to
every
kind of
episode,
keep our thoughts in line.
Yeah, to keep
Sure.
keep moving forward. But this episode's plot is 2 times longer.
Oh yeah,
than
no, it
every
is
other
such a
episode
long,
on here.
drawn out, like typed out plot when it's really not. Like it's not that long.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he runs. Yeah, so that happens. If you didn't see the pilot, none of what you see in that section makes any sense at all.
But
Because
I mean,
that is one.
saw every
Right.
episode back
Which
then,
they stopped
right?
airing
That's
the
just
pilot.
how it works.
No,
No, because
no.
especially not the pilot. The pilot may have been
It was
aired
on
once or
cartoon,
twice, and then the actual season.
But I'm
was
just
there.
like, it's one of those things where I go,
right, yeah.
this is bold as shit to do a callback to the pilot when in reality there's a possibility that a good chunk of your audience didn't watch the pilot. But
I would say the majority, probably, because the pilot does not get aired. Even now, pilots don't get aired as much
Yeah, I
as the
know.
actual episodes.
In between,
So,
it's crazy.
here and there.
So he runs inside to get Eustace, who is still asleep because
Who's
he
the
always
dirtbag?
is.
He always is.
Yeah. He awakes
Yeah.
to Courage kind of coming in, and Courage has the slipper in his hand, and he shape shifts into a 3-headed Hydra chicken eating Muriel.
Which is more of a foreshadowing for another episode coming up later.
But it's one of those things where I went, Courage, man, we gotta talk about your hyperbole.
Hey, man, if he doesn't exaggerate,
Yeah.
Courage isn't. I mean, Eustace isn't.
Eustace never cares. And Eustace essentially says, "Fuck off." And so
Slap
we-
you with the slipper.
you see Courage look at the slipper, and then like the camera pulls back, and you just hear wop 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 wop. And
Hey!
that's my favorite thing, is just the mental image of Courage just slapping the shit out of him with a slipper. And he gets Eustace to chase him into the barn. He gets him, which again, this is one of those moments where there's a lot of episodes where Eustace sees what Courage has finally been like freaked out about and goes, "Ah!"
But fuck that dog.
Not this time. When Courage bursts open into the barn and there's a UF fucking O sitting there, he just goes, "I'm still gonna kill the dog." And he runs up the ramp, and Courage runs in, and there's all this shit, this tomfoolery going on, with Muriel's head being pulled, and Eustace being confused, and
And then Eustace is launched into the ship, and you hear the sound of plunging.
yeah. Well, and then Courage runs out and unplugs the thing again in an attempt to like. Oh yeah.
Cuts it.
Sorry, my
cuts it with
bad.
nail
He
clippers.
cuts it this time.
Never mind.
That's
Stupid. Why it's nail clippers instead of like
Because
scissors
Courage
or
doesn't
shears
wanna
or
be
any
shocked.
other thing that
I
could
don't
cut.
that's yeah.
Yes.
No,
Nail clippers
no.
killed you?
No.
Not the clippers he was using. No.
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 Oh, okay.
So that happens, and the door slams shut, and Courage has to then use a blowtorch to get in.
Man,
And
Courage
that
must
just-
have fucking went to a lot of years of school for just
He
nonsense
has-
jack of all trades.
He's got so many technical degrees. So that door
He
opens.
applies his
The door
safety
opens,
mask first
though.
because safety first.
Yeah. And,
That's right. He's
and
actually
then we
certified.
see Eustace. And then he
But it's
continues
not
to walk forward, and it's not Eustace. It's a chicken. By the way, dialogue up to this point, minimal.
Hey man, we've all
Um,
listened to silent movies. Listened.
And then, fuck off. And
Yeah,
then
technically, yeah.
it's the chicken wearing Eustace's head, still using Eustace's vocal cords. And that's when shit just gets so strange, because then
Fucking
the most of it
weird.
is just a big chase scene of Courage rescuing Muriel and running away.
On
Yeah.
the longest
On a
tightrope.
tightrope.
The longest tightrope, and then shit happens. they get to like midway through. Courage kind of drops Muriel. He grabs her. You think that there's this big problem with them being off the ground, and then Courage is standing on the ground, and the chicken realizes what happens, and then they do the funny cartoony thing where they let it go and they and shoots them off into the world.
But
you think it's all over. It's not, because then the chicken comes back with a triple X size plunger to plunge the world.
For those specific toilets.
For when your Uncle Jerry comes over and he only eats meat.
He'll be shitting
That's right.
4 to 5 times a day, depending on what he eats.
Most of them a small size
6
of a
times
baby.
It's Christmas.
But he needs the celery for fiber.
It's for fiber. Keeps me regular.
God damn it.
What the fuck happened to humans?
I don't know. I think it fucked up around the
I
Renaissance era, and then it just kept getting worse.
like it's one
Wow,
of those
that
things
far
where I
back,
go,
okay.
yeah, there was a time in which people were like hunting and gathering and foraging, and now we're just like, well, Jim, did you take your Metamucil this morning? You gotta make sure that fiber in your diet. I just go, man, we're not fucking meant to keep going for long periods of time.
Hey, man.
These vessels are supposed to give out probably sooner than we keep them.
Hey, man. People always say I want to live to be 100, and I'm like, no, you don't. You do not want to live to be 100.
You wanna live.
Wow.
You might want to live to be 100. Specific. You have to be really specific and say like, I want to live and continue to be mobile until 100.
I want to live and still
wanna
have
be
a thinking
person.
mind.
I don't want to have Nancy wipe my ass.
I want to have good guts.
Here's the thing. I want to be 30 and have Nancy wipe my ass.
That's because you have a fetish.
No, Tim, it's okay. We all have these problems. That's why we're here.
Oh, sure. I'll pile on the guy.
This is actually not a podcast. This is just your support group.
This is an intervention.
Is
We
this
don't
my
know why you've been
intervention?
editing
Oh,
it and
great.
putting it on the
Hey,
internet.
man, it's okay for you to have the fetish, but don't put it on the internet. That, you know what? That's...
Or do, but just put it in the place where it's supposed to go.
God damn it, content's content. We are full
right.
circle, back to Pornhub. All right.
And so, the chicken with the giant plunger.
Giant plunger. They do a chase scene. There's a motorcycle. Muriel's slipper keeps causing problems. They crash the motorcycle. Muriel's fine.
Dilworth brand is pretty shit.
Everywhere. Dilworth plugs. Dill plugs. Dill motorcycle. They land on a rocket base, which is what I alluded to earlier, to which the chicken then plunges the opening of a rocket tube out of the ground, which then causes the rocket to hit the UFO, causing the Eustace chicken to say stupid dog.
The use chicken.
And then the end of it, they're sitting at the porch, and Muriel goes, "Oh, here comes Eustace with my slipper." And up the most disturbing imagery. Everything else has been like fun and haha. It's a headless Eustace body shambling, not walking, shambling towards Muriel, carrying a slipper. And then it cuts to Courage screaming, and then he stops the end and goes, "This still shouldn't happen to a dog." And then that's it, which is a callback to the original pilot.
And so,
Right.
That's the Revenge of the Chicken from Outer Space. You have to have watched the pilot to know what this shit is.
So here's a question for you guys. Do you think that they did not know if they were going to get renewed for a second season? So they thought about a way to end it without ending it?
See,
because that's a lot of series do that by accident or like on purpose, just in case, like, oh well, I still made a whole series, it just ended with the first season kind of thing.
I think maybe, or they just really wanted to do it. You know, I mean, this is a.
Hey man, it was our pilot. Let's fucking capitalize on that.
Yeah, they just want to have some fun. They thought about it. They're like, what if the chicken comes back?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
fuck
Irving
it. What
S.
if the
Bowers,
chicken comes
the credit is the head writer for it. I don't. Did he work on?
Sure.
There's an interesting character that we're not using. It's the chicken. Let's reuse him.
I don't know if he worked on the pilot for it, but maybe he did. But I was wondering if it might be. It was just Dilworth.
He
That's
did
what
not.
I thought. 'Cause that's normally how it
Dilworth
goes.
was the head writer.
And I'm sure
for
Dilworth had
the
obviously
actual-
input. It's his show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, or maybe they were just like, let's do that again.
We need an episode.
Yeah, that could have been it. They could have been like, well, we need to have 13
We have
episodes
the
in
Journey
this
to the Center
season,
of the
or
Earth.
12
We need
episodes
something-
in the season.
Yeah. And I don't know. It wasn't like
Right.
it's weird. It's super weird.
I can't rate it too highly because I actually didn't enjoy it that much.
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking at. I know Tim is our trivia man, but I'm
Dan the
looking.
man.
I'm
Aha.
looking at it.
Tim the Tool Tailor.
Would you like me just to read off
Can you?
the trivia? Then
Can I tell you the ones I want you to read off?
Text it to him.
Sure, because there's a couple here
Like,
they've already talked
we-
about, basically.
First, yeah, like I would talk about the last appearance of him, and then I'm gonna rant about a few others. Like, don't
Uh-huh.
talk about the fucking Dill thing. That's not trivia. That's just shit in the
It's just
episode.
talk.
And then the very last one I want to yell about for a while. But so Tim, just talk about the second point is what I'm saying to you.
He's giving you a very specific point to deal
I
with.
get you, yep. This is the second and last appearance of Space Chicken. The next episode to carry the chicken from outer space
Fucking
name will be about
stupid.
his son.
Okay.
That's fine.
Everything else, like this is my I go back to my complaint about what people fucking categorize as trivia. They give you the entire backstory of the pilot as part of trivia. That's not trivia. That's just the pilot.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm reading this now too. Half of this trivia should not be read. Maybe one of the other ones that should be read is when Eustace is on the chicken and they're about to jump from the spaceship. He yells "stupid dog," which means that Eustace's head now makes the chicken act like
and
him.
also
That's not
that
so much
doesn't
trivia,
necessarily
that's just
that doesn't show anything.
Stupid
It just
dog.
like
yeah.
and that's kind of the thing. Like, if you have not watched the pilot, you would not understand this episode because even the recap in the episode is so fast that it doesn't make any fucking sense because you didn't watch it.
But
like
when
this
you're
is
a kid, you're
but
fast.
but here's the
You
thing.
wanna draw.
But that's the thing though, is like this is one of the few episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog in which actually deals with, like, we have callback characters. Like Cats shows up a lot, but
the duck. also
Cats,
shows up.
yeah, but like those are season 2 for the most part, or season 3. Even Cats in season 1, we see Cats twice. Cats doesn't reference the first time we see him. Cats doesn't talk about knowing them. It's
I
just
remember
Cats.
my hotel courage.
Right.
But like that's what I mean, because it's just like, well, no, we're not. Courage the Cowardly Dog is a weird cartoon because it's normally not a cartoon that deals with continuity. It doesn't try to continue a story longer than one episode, unless like shown otherwise. And so it's weird to me that they went, oh, let's call all the way
Right.
back to the pilot when you don't have that to draw on. And that's really like an interesting thing about this episode. Like, it's kind of a weird, bold stance. And I'm not counting this as a Eustace death because we see both his head explodes. His body's still shambling.
But his
So,
body still moves.
He's probably a better husband. Yeah.
Makes him
Hey.
the perfect husband.
Aha.
And so
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's
Boomer
the
humor.
There you go.
not real. Yeah, actually, wow.
Actually, it
Wow.
is. Yes, it is Boomer Humor.
Good
Well,
night,
it's time to
everybody.
commit seppuku.
Uh,
Oh, that's
the
the
only
end.
other thing when the trivia is not
Mhm.
at the beginning. I'm going to read verbatim this trivia
Alright.
fact from the fandom wiki, and you tell me if you think
Sure.
this is fucking trivia. At the beginning of the episode, the Statue of Liberty is decapitated by a plunger device. This episode premiered 8 years before Cloverfield, in which a similar scene occurred, only without a plunger. That's
Yeah,
not.
that's the stupidest
There's
thing
no
I've ever heard
fucking
in my
way the
entire
guys
life.
that made Cloverfield, J.J. Abrams, was sitting around going, "Hey, remember that episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where the chicken comes back? And you know the chicken that they talked about in the pilot, but like he comes back and he's like now a cooked chicken, and now he's gonna like take the heads off a bunch of things for no real reason. Why does he take the head off the Statue of Liberty? Doesn't make much sense because when you really think about it, proportionally, the doll's head would be the only one that would really work. But anyway, so he takes the head off the Statue of Liberty. What if we did that in our movie, but without a plunger?
Do you think that the person who wrote that was just like, all right, this is how I envision Cloverfield being written. J.J. Abrams and all the writers were in the room. There's just like, there's just something missing. And the TV's on in the background, and Courage is playing. That's it. And they just see that part. They're like, that's it.
The scene where they're running through the tunnels says Courage and Eustace running through the tunnels.
It's so
like, this
stupid.
Could be it. This is
so
it.
fucking
they
dumb.
wanted to name the main character Eustace, but they thought it was too on the nose.
It's just such a stupid fucking thing.
That's so stupid.
I don't want to talk about this chicken anymore.
God damn.
All right.
Yeah. So before we go on, so 3 baked chickens,
2 plungers
4
out of 5,
4 baked
man.
chickens, 5 baked chickens.
You know what? You choose.
plungers,
Everyone
there you
choose their
go.
own rating system for this one.
I thought
'Cause I don't care enough.
last time, so yeah.
Sure.
I didn't like this episode that much. It was fine, but I honestly spaced out, or I wanted to, and it just was there. It just happened.
You said 2 plungers.
It's not as bad. 2 plungers.
Okay.
It's not as bad as Cajun Granny Stew, but it still didn't strike me as a good episode.
So I will give it.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh,
I hate that. I hate it. I love it. I hate it.
Shot for every dill plug.
No.
Well, not yet. But the reason I give it 3 out of 5 is because it was entertaining if you had seen the pilot episode. If you'd seen the pilot episode, then you're like, oh, this is a recurring character. This is cool. But if you had not, then yeah,
It's fine.
like Sheldon had
It's
said,
fine.
2 out of 5.
Like I'm giving it closer to
it's
3, but just to be fair, it's a 2 out of 5.
And they do a very short recap with the projector and him flipping through slides and things like that. But it's just
No,
you can't just bring back the pilot characters and do it again. It doesn't work. So
Okay.
I'm also just in the mood to give out 2s today.
I'm gonna be controversial.
Mm-hmm. He's giving it
No.
he's gonna give it a 6.
I'm going to give it 1 charred slipper.
out of 1.
No, out of 5.
Oh man.
1 out of 1.
Because I sat around and I thought about it for a second,
Uh-huh.
and I went, if I am, if I am 10-year-old me, and I'm flipping through the channels, and I've never watched Courage, and I end up seeing this. I just see this first half of the full episode, and it's this one. It's the Revenge of the Chicken from Outer Space. It is so it's so disjointed and odd, and basically just a big callback that I'm not going to understand it, and I'm not gonna probably be like, that was a really good show. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm going to go, oh, that was.
Weird.
That was weird. I'll see what else is on. It doesn't compel me enough to keep watching. It's weird and it's got some odd imagery, but it doesn't compel me enough to be like, oh, this is something I want to keep going because of the fact that it's such just a callback episode. This is worse than Cajun Granny Stew.
Holy shit!
Because Cajun Granny Stew at least is its own episode.
Yeah, you don't have to learn any new characters. You don't have to know anything
Courage,
before going in.
You operate under the idea that this is something that is kind of known. You don't need to know the characters to watch King Ramses.
I'm just imagining the fox calling Taylor up and night, I knew you'd come back.
It's not a fucking excuse. I'm not going to be like, I still hate Cajun Granny
yeah.
Stew. I don't hate this like I hate Cajun Granny Stew. I dislike Cajun Granny Stew because I think it's cheap. I think it's a dumb episode. But like this is just one of those things where I go, this is not great. This doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. This doesn't make me go like, oh, I really want to see more of this. This just makes me go, what? Like Cajun Granny Stew at least is enough for me to be like, oh, that was an episode around, because like maybe there's more to this than just that. But I still hate Cajun Granny Stew under the fact of like it's just a fucking chase cartoon. But this is a weird thing because I go, it's a chase cartoon. It has some substance, but because of the substance needing to be known by something else, it just ends up falling flat, and I don't like it. And I really think it's not as good as every other episode in this series, in this season. I think this is the worst episode of the season.
Yeah. Wow. Fucking
wow,
Christ.
really? That's
I really do.
right there.
I think if you compare it to everything else story-wise, if you watch every episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog, this is a great fucking episode because you're like, oh, they did the thing. They did the thing. They called back to the thing that I like.
But Taylor looks at everything in a vacuum, you see.
But if you're just a person and you're just showing up to see this, and this is the only one you see, this doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's bad.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, like out of every series, like especially in the early thousands or even the 90s, you would not see the pilot episode when they show reruns. They would definitely show actual season episodes instead. Because they have higher production value, they're more likely to keep
Watch
you
us
on,
find this is
like
like the
everything
most
like
loved
that.
episode besides like Freaky Fred or something.
I even
That's
if it
a
is,
fucking
they're
lie,
wrong.
I would say. Well, no, this part of the episode definitely not.
And I
Maybe
think
the latter part of the episode.
That's where we go, because like in a lot of times it seems like the A side always seems to be the hitter and the B side is the miss.
This time it's
This is the opposite, because the A side is
is
just a miss for me if I'm seeing this in a vacuum, and the B side is at least its own thing, and that's where we go to Journey to the Center, or Journey to the Center of Nowhere.
Woo, one of my favorite episodes for sure.
My brain
been a joke for like 5 episodes now.
I see that. My brain didn't want to say that, and I was like, Journey to the Center of the Courage, and I was like, that's not the name of the episode, Taylor.
That sounds like a
Sadly not.
proctologist.
They could have done that.
You have no idea.
Journey to the Center. Yeah.
So comparatively,
I had that. Yeah.
Revenge of the Chicken from Outer Space, the plot synopsis for it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paragraphs. This is one.
Yeah. And this is only one. Yeah, this is so stupid. That's what I was thinking too, because I looked ahead a little bit, then I looked back. I was like, how come this episode has 6 paragraphs or something that's not as good?
So this one's fun.
For sure.
Clearly, it's a title parody of like Journey to the Center of the Earth, those type of things. It's the old school kind of Courage idea of like taking a concept from horror and adapting it for funsies. Craig Sheeman is the head writer credited here for this one, but it's a pretty easy plot if you're aware of this episode.
Yeah, this one has a bunch of new people on it too. I don't think we've seen John Flagg or Michael
Bobby Guggenheim.
Waterhan.
It's rare that I talk about storyboarders, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. They're definitely different people.
They're all new people, basically, with the exception of Dilworth being the director and everything. So
let me sum up the first part pretty fast. No water on the Bag Farm. Muriel wants to cook
Not
her
really
famous.
news, but
No.
you know.
Muriel wants to cook her famous eggplant surprise. And they can't get any water out of this well that they have.
Garbage well.
It's a bad well, and so Muriel tells Eustace, dig a new well. To which Eustace obviously pawns that off on Courage, and Muriel goes to talk to an eggplant. It doesn't talk back,
but
it's a spy eggplant.
It has a fish island in it. That
weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Taylor? In second grade, everybody got their spy eggplant.
Yeah.
The spy. Yeah,
Everybody's
you went
got
to
a
the book
water
fair.
buffalo. Yeah.
Ooh, I want the spy eggplant.
Well, and then
Please, yeah, Scholastic, please bring the fish eye eggplant to my school, please.
You gotta order the pumpkin reader.
So that's the one she brings inside, right? Is the fisheye eggplant?
And she,
correct? Cool. All right, so clearly,
yes.
we're dealing with magic because
we're dealing with Soviet technology, Taylor.
She unplugs it, brings it inside. She's planning on cooking it.
That's right.
We see the fisheye camera, and then we see Courage digging this hole down to the new well, and as he digs, we see a cavern underneath the... Oh, I guess we don't see that right away. We cut from the camera point of view to the cavern, and then we cut back to Courage digging towards the cavern, and inside the cavern is just hundreds of eggplants, or if you're over in England, an aubergine.
Hey, man.
And
no, say it right. It's Bobby Ganoush and his following while
what a...
Oh, yeah. And there's a bunch of fucking eggplants that are... And then Sheldon is correct. We cut to the main eggplant, who we now find out is named Bobby Ganoush. And they talk in vaguely European/communist rhetoric.
Rebellion. Yeah.
And then there's two very unique ones, which is Bobby Ganoush, and then the other tall and skinny Yes Man.
Was he given a name?
No. And he speaks with a French accent, and Courage breaks into the top of it just to listen, and they talk about how they're planning to break up, go to the surface, and kill Muriel.
The enemy of all eggplant.
Just her.
The enemy, yeah. Just her. Doesn't
and
matter
I love
about
that
else.
for some reason. And Courage runs inside to go tell Muriel, as Courage does, and we're like, oh, he's going to turn into like an eggplant monster thing. Nay, folks. He runs off screen, puts on this costume. I have so many more questions about that eggplant costume than I do about the chicken from outer space.
Little did you know, Eustace is the one that bought the costume.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why does he just have a cute little eggplant costume? Yeah. I need answers.
And it's not like Courage can't get it for himself, right? So they had to buy it for him.
Oh, Courage, right? You look so nice in your eggplant outfit.
That's what she says.
I just want to eat you all up.
But I'll give you some too. Fuck these people. Dilworth, if you're listening, if you could please privately DM the liquid underscore podcast about the reasoning for why he just has an eggplant costume, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, make my Monday morning a great experience.
So Courage then goes back out to... Oh, no, sorry. He gets caught by Eustace in his cute little eggplant costume, and Eustace tells him that he needs to go back out there because he's slacking off. He needs to go dig this well, and she throws him down a hole, and Courage crashes through the ceiling of the hideout, still dressed as an eggplant. And now they think he's the eggplant god, which...
the great eggplant?
Yeah.
I'm aware of what I said.
You said...
He'll lead us to salvation.
Has bestowed himself upon you.
So we this is an aside because we talked a bunch of asides. I want to do it one more time. I own a Nintendo Switch, and we've received Just Dance 2020. And I...
Oh, and yeah. Oh, is that on there?
Well, it is if you do the Just Dance Unlimited, which is like $25 a year to have access to every song ever on a Just Dance game. and I did nothing but dance to Skibidi by Little Big and Ra Ra Rasputin for entirely too long the other day. And Skibidi Wap Wap Ba is just on the disc or on the cartridge itself. So if you need to go learn the Skibidi Wap 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 Ba dance from Little Big, there you go.
I have more questions to ask.
It's my favorite thing in the entire world is just to watch my wife look at me as I do the Skibidi Wap Wap Ba dance.
As you're staring her in the eyes because you have all the moves memorized. Yeah.
So, meanwhile, back with the communist eggplants, the Courage now becomes the leader and tries to change their mind, but first decides to lead them in calisthenics by teaching them that they're not ready, and so they have to, the great eggplant says, jog in place, and they all jog in place. The great eggplant says, do this, which is where they do a weird squat thing and bounce off the ground, which is the best GIF I've ever seen.
The GIF and then the response GIF.
Oh, it's so good. And then he tells them to do the kind of weird Larry Moe and Curly breakdance thing where you run as you lay on the ground and kind of run sideways. And then they do that, and he says, do a backflip. And then they don't do it because he didn't say. The great eggplant says.
Yep. And then Courage bleeds in a great speech about how Muriel's not the problem, but the grocery store is the problem.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong,
to be totally honest. The majority of people don't just grow their eggplants.
He leads them on a crusade, but Baba Ganoush sees the...
There's something about that name that I love.
Made in America. Made in USA.
Sees the tag of Courage's costume, rips it open. They realize he's an imposter. They tie him up, and they go up to the surface to take on Muriel. As they go, they run into Eustace, who says he hates eggplants. Eustace gets buried in the dirt, because fuck you. Why can't we all just get along? Said one of the eggplants, going to kill a woman. And then they find Muriel, and they tie her up, and then they have a big argument if they should grill her or bake her or fry her.
Let's go fry, boys.
That's fry her, what's the best way to eat a person?
Do you prefer
so they're
bacon,
yelling back and forth,
or would you rather have a steak?
A pork steak? I guess grilled pork.
I know what I prefer, but
yeah,
very true. They are
human. Never mind. That's what people say.
It tastes just like pork.
Cannibals. Not enough, but there was that Reddit post about the guy that ate his own leg.
To see how. Do what you gotta do.
Would you feel better about eating flesh if it was?
You cut out.
Would you feel better about eating flesh if it was your own?
No.
Oh, no. No, not at all.
No.
No, not one bit.
You're not causing anyone pain except for yourself.
Wow, this is just... Yeah, it's like Austin Powers Gold
Great.
Member. That was the grossest shit.
I
I
saw that in theaters.
I have watched so many things, and that was still one of those. Was like, I hate that. So Courage realizes that he's got to save Muriel, and he sucks his gut in, and it all goes to his head, and he slips out of the binds.
And
goes
Taylor
up.
Goes no.
I hated that. That's a proportional thing that I was like not ready for at the time.
Taylor doesn't like this.
It's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Taylor, remember.
You're made of 80% air. How do you not?
And they're still arguing. And then as he gets up there, they have a tiny eggplant that pops out and says, "Why don't we bake her?" And they agree. Freaking Courage out to go upstairs, burrowing upstairs. We don't see him break the ground until he gets to the computer room. Yes.
Attic.
To which he asks how to get rid of a bad eggplant. Computer responds with sarcastics. Yeah. Obviously, you throw it in the garbage. And then he says, no, like, they're evil and trying to eat you. And he's like, eggplants are only evil when they're dry.
When they lack
they don't have any water.
And so Courage goes, got it. And he runs out to go dig the well, and we see that cutaway as he goes to dig the well, and we're like, oh cool, he's gonna hit. He does this big loop, and he gets to the water, and he goes, got it.
And much like Contra Man from Spider-Man,
holy shit!
Grabs all the water.
He just pushes it into the well, and then he.
Yep. He grabs the water. It's Minecraft
amazing.
before Minecraft was there.
He pushes
that's for
this big blob of water underneath the dirt to the well and pops up and starts pumping vigorously. And the eggplants are like, oh, we got it. I thought you tied him up. I'll get him. And then Bobby Ganoush goes, tie him up again. And as he says that, Courage lets loose a tidal wave from his pump.
The beginning and end of mini pornos.
And just water floods the area.
That's right.
And then we have a smooth bass track in the background as all of the eggplants grow roots and are side-eyeing everybody and talking deep voices.
It's so warm.
Ooh.
The one thing I remember about this episode is this, where he goes, oh yeah, grow, baby, grow.
And they're super stoked, and there's a great scene of Bobby Ganoush with his like side eye like ecstasy state, which is the best profile picture you can ever have. And then the eggplants are now friendly. They're cool, I guess. I don't know. We don't really know.
Now.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's never brought up, and maybe
the genocide will begin.
No idea. And they enter a contest to win first prize, and Bobby Ganoush wins eggplant most likely to succeed.
Heaviest.
Yeah, because Muriel doesn't want to cook them. Right?
Not all at once.
Apparently not all of them, which was weird because there was definitely a army of eggplants there. But when she goes to bring him to some kind of contest, which I just assume is the Kansas State Fair, which is something they would do for an eggplant contest because they would fucking do that. It's just like, hey, these five are
but
good.
The rest, they can go to the mulch.
It's a fucking... It's an odd thing. And that's it.
Just win second place. Don't forget
because he's still on the ground, apparently.
Yeah, he won second place, but they just dug out around him, but not him.
And yeah, that's Journey to the Center of the Eggplant. It's so fucking strange.
I enjoyed it more than the other one.
I remember this episode very fondly.
It's a really good episode. I'm a big fan of it.
Baby, grow.
Would you guys?
No.
Would you guys like the trivia? The music where Courage is telling the eggplants what to do was first used in Noodles and Ned short Catch of the Day, which John R. Dilworth made for Sesame Street. So Dilworth made a segment for Sesame Street called Catch of the Day. And that was the same music that was used there, was used for that part.
Yeah, it's it is a 1996 independent short film called Noodles and Ned.
Noodles and Caboodles.
And then they had a returning sequence called Catch of the Day.
Okay, so that was what was
I think
Sesame
both
Street,
of them might have been.
Okay.
Yeah, they were. That's supposed to be Noodles is supposed to be a cat, but he really just looked demon. Ned with two D's, by the way, is basically Dilworth.
I
it's
wish
the portrait.
I was lucky enough to have two D's.
It is the portrait of Dilworth that we see everywhere, and it's a.
You should you should send that to me because that's something else we should watch.
I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can find some actual video of it. Currently, I just have stills. But I'll see what I can find.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was looking that up as we went into this. Because that's weird and interesting. Because I really didn't know much, and that's what's really cool. Is that
Dilworth had done a lot of one shots and things like that.
I didn't.
Before. I knew about that.
I think that's what's really neat about this experience is hopefully myself and some of our listeners are learning more about the man, the myth, the legend, John R. Dilworth.
Yeah. I mean, he still makes stuff.
He does. Hey, DM us.
Yeah, please God. The second trivia fact is the music that is heard in the title and played in the eggplant scenes is Ride of the Valkyries from Apocalypse Now, which would rather be reused in episodes of Ride of the Valkyries.
But what's the music played during the eggplant like weird water thing?
It's like just a sick ass bass riff.
Oh, I don't know about the water.
Also, with that trivia fact, Ride of the Valkyries was written by composer Richard Wagner, which came out.
It's been used a lot in Courage.
Eons ago. Eons ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we played it. We played band in high school. No, it's
like it's so old. It is something that people use to convey. Wagner's a weird cat, but it is a piece that is used to convey that type of like booming and kind of foreboding.
The force is coming.
Type of thing. It's cute.
Once again, we're in a weird situation with the wiki where
it's just definitely from the fucking 1850s composer fucking Richard Wagner.
Yeah. So the third trivia fact is the title is obviously a parody of Journey to the Center of the Earth, and the fourth one, this episode was featured as a bonus tune on the 2000.
Boy, you're rough, bud. You okay?
The Powerpuff Girls.
It's okay. We all have rough time. It's
okay. I haven't drank in 2 weeks. No, but this was a bonus tune on the 2000s VHS of the Powerpuff Girls Birthday Bash. So if you had that Powerpuff Girls Birthday Bash VHS,
you have
this
a
would be a
unique
bonus
version
tune at the very end
of
of
the Valkyries.
Yeah, such a silly thing.
I wonder if they made a DVD version of that. That'd be really cool if they had a DVD version of that, and that was like a
it's 2000, like so there might have been.
It might have been remade. Who
I don't know.
knows?
A lot of those old Cartoon Network things a lot of the Cartoon Network things are just not around anymore. Like,
dude.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of things are like that. Like a lot of the early Comedy Central.
They don't allow Miss Arabella
not around. You can't find it.
She's just too sexy. From the the neck down.
That's why. Yeah, that's totally why.
So there's that. Let us go into rating the episode. Tim, it seems to be your favorite. You start us off.
Yeah, man.
Sure, I will give this 4 eggplant tentacles out of 5.
I hate that.
I know you do. That's why I said it. The reason being is that this is a little bit more fun, a little bit more of a story, and a little bit more of an episode than a lot of other episodes really are. It's more memorable. I remember it for sure. Then I guess I'm biased.
It's my favorite. Fuck you.
But it's not my favorite. But Gerbils is my favorite. They goes, it's a small world after all, which is second season, like one of the first episodes in the second season. But the reason I really like this episode is because I think it's, like we said before, it's a full episode.
On its own.
You don't have to know anything going in. Yeah, you know that Eustace beats Courage and pushes him down.
Holes,
like
brother.
dig.
You're caveman
and
now.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Caveman.
Shia LaBeouf would love this episode. That's
for sure.
And his
Here
flag
I
will be
go.
taken down by 4chan in
I
a
think I'm
matter of
taking a
weeks
shot for
or
a Holes
minutes,
reference,
actually.
but here we go.
I don't know why.
There you go.
All right, Sheldon, you want to go?
Yeah, sure, why not? I agree. 5 spy cams, because you know what? Why did I say spy cams? It's Bobby Ganoush's all the way. It's always Bobby Ganoush.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
It was just
yeah.
fun. It was just fun. I liked watching it, and I didn't need to know anything else. And goddamn, Bobby Ganoush, he's a charismatic eggplant. What can I say?
He could lead a bunch of
Apparently.
eggplants to murder a woman. I mean,
He could
What
lead
else
the
could you
next
say?
communist revolution.
I prefer revolution.
Yes,
maybe.
revolution.
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 Ooh woo.
Revolution.
I think I'll give it kind of in the same vein. Oh man,
1 out of 5
you
eggplants.
guys had such good ones. I think I will give it 4 out of 5 buried Eustaces.
Okay.
That's good.
Oh,
Like
there you go, yeah.
comparatively out of the
Yeah.
two of them, it's a really good episode. It's not super unsettling. It's not super crazy. It stands on its own though. You don't need anything else to go off of. There's no reference material, and it's just silly and fun and has a great fun plot to just kind of drive you forward. And
Yeah, it's not terrifying like some of the other episodes
It's a
are. It's just
show.
kind of
That's
a
fun.
fun episode.
Yeah, it would-
Yeah.
it would allow like there. You don't have to think about it. You got the references. You got everything. It's a fun thing to go off of. I would.
That's not what the Great Eggplant says.
I would. Like again, if you look at it in a vacuum, if I was sitting in a vacuum, if I've never seen an episode before and I saw this, I'd be like, that was really fun and
Taylor
funny.
really
I would.
likes that vacuum.
I'm gonna watch another one. It's just like you have to think about it like that. You have to think about just being able to see it, like on its own.
Yeah, you need to stop. We're not in the TV age anymore where you would see
No.
both these episodes back to back. Now you could see
You can stop
the A
at
part
Revenge
and
of the
the
Chicken
B
and
part
go,
of a
I didn't
different
like that
episode
one,
here.
and then
Yeah.
just skip to Journey to the Center of Nowhere.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, or you could skip
Oh,
the
great
Little
facility,
Muriel,
one
which
of
is
my
the
favorites.
next
Oh
episode.
yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
like that.
Those are the next ones,
Yeah.
and I think that's the end of season 1. If I'm correct.
Little Muriel and the B episode of that is the end, which is our
Oh,
anniversary,
hey,
actually. We started in February of
We made it, boys. Take a shot.
2019, so we will...
we did it. We made it all the way to. If you insist.
Well, if you say...
We made it to well, we haven't yet. So we've almost made it to a year.
Not yet, but...
For all of you that stuck with us, I don't know why you did.
All 5.
Thank you.
So
Hey, they still listen,
I
so
hope-
there's at least 5 people listening. That's better than my Let's
It's
Play
dead
channel
now.
that I used to have. Let me tell you about that. Well, thank you. It's not
It's as
totally
dead
dead.
as
Let
long
me.
as you let it be dead.
There's
Tim,
some
do you
shit
want to plug
happening
your
on there.
shit real quick? Why not?
No, I do
Why not?
So all right, I will plug it, but I don't know. So I'm going to put new Let's Plays out with all of us on my Let's Play channel, but I don't know if I'm
So-
going to rename the channel or not.
We'll rename it.
Brand
So-
recognition.
Well, if it's brand recognition, I need to change it to
The
Tim
Liquid
TV,
Playcast.
right? Because it needs to be
Gross.
with everything else. But it doesn't just
Yeah.
have you guys as other people like Cooper and other folks.
Well, you'll figure it out.
So-
We won't plug it now. We'll plug it later.
We'll plug it later.
Yeah, you'll know. I'll plug it on the Twitter, on the Liquid Courage
And
Twitter.
yeah, I think
So
with that, we've exhausted this run.
I think we're exhausted, so we're gonna call it.
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
It's a good place to end. It definitely. Is there any lasting thoughts any of you guys have?
Not
for
much. It
any of
was
these
it was
episodes?
a fun time. It was a good B episode. Rough episode if you've not seen the pilot. We've seen the pilot, so it was fun for us.
I might change my Discord name to Bobby Ganoush. I'm not sure.
There's that.
Well, see, we should change this whole Discord to
Fuck
something
you,
else.
no.
Rocco's online.
Hey man, it's already old. It was old when it started.
Soon.
Fathead Fan Chat is my favorite general chat name I've ever created.
Hey man.
You could do so much
the
better.
episode of Rocco and Mrs. Bighead having an affair.
Talking about the episode of Rocco where they go to hell.
No man, look at my eyes. They're big and beautiful.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, Rocco.
Touch them.
We should talk about how Rocco worked at a phone sex place.
baby. Anyway, if you want to listen to us, obviously, never mind. That's a stupid segue. If you want to hear from us or keep updated about us, we've got the Twitter at liquid_podcast. We
also have a Facebook page I'm very active on it. You ever message us, we'll be on there.
Distinctly. Ask questions to Taylor. Ask questions.
Yeah, let me yell. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for a fun ride so far. We will finish out the year strong. Well, finish out.
Well, at least we won't
start our own year.
Another year.
Welcome to 2020. Let's all make it through this together. Or not. Who knows?
Woo, yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Who knows? That was the Liquid Courage Podcast. An in-depth look every episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. On the next episode, we check out Little Muriel and the Great Fusili. Music was provided by Visionless. You can find them at www.soundcloud.com/VISIONL3SS. We do not own the rights to Courage the Cowardly Dog. Until next time, have a wonderful night.
This feels nice. Yeah. What a nice garden you have here, Muriel.
Very nice. The soil is so warm and comfy.
Oh, yeah.
Grow, baby, grow.